What if Halloween's frights went beyond mere tales, seeping into the realm of unsolved, bone-chilling mysteries? Tonight, we uncover true stories that left communities shaken and the world bewildered. From unexplained disappearances to a broadcast gone wrong, these real Halloween horrors unveil the chilling side of October's end. In 2001, Penn State student Hyunjong Cindy Song celebrated Halloween with her friends, dressed in a bunny costume attending a local party. The night was filled with laughter and dance, a typical college celebration. As the night wrapped up, a friend dropped Cindy off at her apartment around 4 a.m. That moment was the last time anyone saw her. Cindy's disappearance didn't make sense. She had been an ambitious student from South Korea, making her way through the rigors of academia miles away from home. Her sudden vanishing sent shockwaves through her close-knit circle of friends and the wider community. When she wasn't found in the following days, panic started setting in. The local police were alerted and a thorough search commenced. When they entered Cindy's apartment, everything seemed normal. There were no signs of a struggle or forced entry. Her belongings, including her mobile phone and backpack, were right where they should be. No calls were made, and there was no suspicious activity in her emails. There were concert tickets set to take place in a few days, and a receipt for a new computer due to be delivered. There were no signs of her wanting to run away. As investigators delved deeper, a glimmer of hope emerged when a local store's surveillance footage revealed an individual resembling Cindy. She was apparently buying water. However, this lead soon hit a dead end as they couldn't definitively identify the person in the footage. Furthermore, her credit card was never used after her disappearance. One of the more unsettling aspects of this case came with the mention of Hugo Marcus Zelensky, bank robber and murderer, as a suspect in 2003. This man's residence held ghastly secrets. Human remains were discovered in his backyard. For a moment, there was a grim hope that the mystery surrounding Cindy's disappearance would finally be untangled. However, despite the horror that Zelensky's backyard revealed, there was nothing found that could link him to Cindy's case. It was another cold trail in a case that seemed to be filled with them. The disquieting reality is that Cindy vanished without a trace, leaving behind nothing but a string of unanswered questions. The somber reality of Cindy's unresolved fate serves as a stark reminder that sometimes life can be more unsettling than fiction. In 1988, 29-year-old David Stone, a successful stock market analyst from El Paso, Texas, he had a creative side that yearned for something more meaningful, so he moved to San Diego, California, and dived into the world of writing and poetry. Now David was generally a cool and gentle guy, but had a fiery edge to him, especially seen during his college football days. On October 28th, he threw a party at his apartment, but things spiraled out of control, leading to a violent outburst from David. The next morning, feeling the weight of his actions, David tells his roommate that he needs to get away for a few days to find some clarity before his best friend's wedding. He sets off on a solitary road trip, eventually stopping in Eloy, Arizona, before continuing on to Tucson. And this is where things start to take an eerie turn. His last confirmed sighting is on the early hours of Halloween in a remote part of New Mexico. A farmer spots him, strolling down a lonely dirt road, dressed in just a t-shirt and shorts despite the chilly autumn air, with nothing but a walking stick in hand. The farmer offers him a ride, but David declines, uttering something about looking for the beast before he ventures off into the desert's embrace. David's unexpected no-show at his best friend's wedding rehearsal sets off alarm bells. His car is found abandoned on a highway with peculiar sightings of him scribbling notes while gazing at the distant granite peak, and later wandering into the desert murmuring to himself. Now this is where it gets even more bizarre. A thorough search of the desert around where David was last seen revealed a series of cryptic clues. There were pyramid structures made of rocks and, close by, David's gold Rolex, and some change lay on the ground as if deliberately placed. And then, there's this string of numbers written in the sand, part of the Fibonacci sequence, a concept familiar to stock market analysts like David. But, oddly enough, he ends the sequence with 18 instead of 21. It's as if David was trying to tell something, to leave behind a coded message. His parents stumble upon more enigmatic clues in his car: a business card of a man who claimed to have never met David, and a cryptic note scribbled on a gasoline receipt. It read, "They think the word is in the safe. 6 knives in Rob's room. Use buys your tea and use take your chances Halloween." Fast forward to 1992. Hunters in the area stumble upon skeletal remains near Granite Peak. The bones are identified as David's, but how and when he died remains a mystery. There were no signs of foul play, and no one could decipher the cryptic clues he left behind. October 30th, 1938. It's a cool Halloween Eve, and as night descends, families across America are tuning their radios for a cozy evening by the fire. Orson Welles, the voice behind the Mercury Theater on the Air, a popular radio show at the time. But that night, they decided to shake things up a bit with a dramatic adaptation of H.G. Wells' The War of the Worlds, a sci-fi novel popularized by the 2005 movie starring Tom Cruise, which is about a Martian invasion on Earth. The show starts off like any other, with some tunes and a fake weather report. But suddenly, boom, they hit the listeners with a breaking news about some explosions on Mars. Now they switch back and forth between what sounds like legit news updates and on-the-ground action of Martians landing and zapping everything in sight. And they did such a bang-up job at making it sound real, folks were losing their minds. Now remember, the show didn't tell folks it was all make-believe until way into the broadcast. So if you tuned in late, you were buying the whole alien invasion story. People start freaking out, calling the police, packing their bags to dodge the aliens, the whole 9 yards. Some brave souls even drove down to where the Martians supposedly landed to see the action up close. It was nuts. As the truth slowly trickled out that it was all just a Halloween prank, reactions were all over the place. Some folks laughed it off, while others were mad as hell for being fooled into thinking aliens had legit landed. The next day, Wells faces the media, saying he had no clue the show would cause such a panic. Even though there was a big fuss about it, this stunt shot Wells into stardom and got people talking about that Halloween prank for years to come. And that's the wild story of how a Halloween radio show turned into a night of nationwide freak out. It's a crazy ride thinking about how a make-believe story played out just right could send shockwaves through the entire country. And let's be real, it's kind of hilarious picturing people's faces when they realized it was all just a spooky Halloween tale.